Well, welcome back. I'm Keith Reynolds, host of Morning Coffee, and I'm here with my first guest this morning, Dana Hoffman from Guardian K-9 Training. And we were just talking about the last set portion of the show. We were just talking about the nuts and bolts of Dana's business and, what's it like, the steps to get, training with the animal. And Dana, I got to tell you, and I wasn't joking. As a kid, I used to get bit all the time by dogs. During your training, do you ever get bit?
There's been attempts.
Okay.
I'd have to say, as of right now, nothing serious. I do have another job on the side from my own company. I work for the family grooming business, which is the grooming shop. That's out in Forked River. I work there on the side as well, which is obviously working with dogs once again. And I'd have to say I get bit there, like, a lot. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'd say that I get bit there quite often. So I'd say the grooming aspect, you get bit a lot more than you do in the training aspect.
It's interesting because, I always say with my dogs, like when people come in the house, I say they're not going to bother you, but no one should ever say that because you don't know what that dog's going to do.
Exactly.
It might be a smell or something like that. So I tell people, no, she's never bitten anybody, but.
Exactly, you never know. The grooming shop is awesome. We have a great time with the animals. It's completely cage-free. The clients love that. So you come in based on appointments. So I feel like it is a very personal experience with these dogs, and also being able to read dogs also helps you while working with them and grooming with them to know what may be uncomfortable. They may have arthritis or something may be hurting if you're maneuvering them a certain way. So that's also where I'm thankful that I have the veterinary experience because it teaches me, not only about training, but to understand, the anatomy of the animal, to make sure that the animal is safe at all times while working with it, and I'm safe. So, I try not to get bit, but they just sometimes bite you.
Now, you say the open room, like, are you open with all the other groomers in the room?
Well, everything is separated. We each have our own little room, I guess you could say. It's a private room. We meet with the client at the door. We take the dog back. We go into our room. We do everything we have to do, wash the dog. So the dogs are always separated, but they're never crated. So people really love that about the grooming shop, that it's a completely cage-free facility, because your animals aren't stuck in cages for 8 hours a day getting stressed out.
And not knowing where, they don't know
They
where
get
they're
scared,
at. They get
yeah.
scared, so now you're putting them in a cage, it's even worse. So
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, so I think that's very, it's very convenient for everybody.
So let me ask you a question, because I know that all my dogs never like to get their nails cut.
Yeah.
Do you guys use the grinder or a cutter?
We use both.
You use both?
I found that some dogs will tolerate the nail clipping but not the grinder, and the grinder but not the nail clipping. So it's like throwing the dice. Like, all right, with this dog, what's it gonna be? Let's just try it and let's see what happens. And sometimes it's like, all right, this worked, and then you're like, sometimes, okay, that's not gonna work. So there's a lot of different techniques with that as well, by trying to do both ways. And the animal will always tell you. You just have to learn to listen. Yeah, they'll tell you.
Now, do you ever muzzle them up, or right off the bat, just say no?
Not with the in the veterinary world. Yes, that was like the biggest thing, which was kind of a shocker to me when I was doing this grooming on the side. It was so hard for me to learn how to handle a dog and clip its nails and hold it all by myself with no muzzle or help. Because then in the veterinary world, it's a whole nother world. You do everything completely different. So that was a big challenge for me, and I could say that I think I did very well with it. I think I've mastered it, finally. So, I think that to me is a big plus.
Yeah, and giving dogs shots and stuff like that,
Yes.
I'm sure that's stuff that a dog doesn't like, or even like when they're injured and you have to.
Yeah.
Wow, that's got to be tough, especially when they can't say nothing. Hey, that hurts. Yeah, that.
Which is another big reason why all that experience has led up to me feeling, very confident in my training abilities, because I have that experience in the animal world in so many different situations that, I feel like I can connect with the dog on a level to understand what's going to get across to them and to keep the dog safe at all times.
Okay. So now you only do, which I'm assuming that there's no other training, like, do you only do dogs, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because dogs are smarter than cats, you cat people, and cats just don't do anything. But I will tell you, we did have a guy on from a cat from a cat place, and he said the most interesting thing to me, and it makes so much sense. I'm just not a cat person, guys. Don't kill me for it. But, you know, cats, you know, they say that cats are so friendly because they curl up around your legs and everything. But guess what, you cat lovers, and whoever watched the show, when cats do that, it's kind of like them saying, hey, I'm hungry. You know, he says that that's how they really communicate. And cats are really not social animals. That when they're laying over on the couch, they mean to, like, stay away, buddy. You keep your distance. I found that so fascinating, and he does a lot of behavioral stuff with cats.
That's very interesting.
And he says that cats only come up to you because they want something.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Very
nice.
interesting. I was pretty shocked that day. So Dana, listen, I know you don't, we don't do the housebreaking stuff.
Right.
Okay? But it doesn't mean you can't help with it a little.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Tell me, you have a puppy.
Yes.
What's some things that you can do to help the puppy besides take him out 10 million times, I
Right.
guess? Because that's what it is. I mean, tell us, can you give us a tip or two?
Sure. The best tips that I can give on housebreaking is I am a big believer on crates. Crate training is, I feel, essential to being able to housebreak a dog properly. Dogs are denning creatures. It's in their blood. They were derived all these years from wolves' den. By having a crate, it creates a safe haven for your pet. You start off with crating them, giving them toys and food, making the crate a fun place. Never discipline by putting in the crate or scold in the crate. You want the crate to be a happy place for the pet. So you put the crate out, you get the dog in there, you put its toys, its bedding. You can even, I've worked with feeding dogs in crates, getting them acclimated with the crate. Once they have the crate down, crating is the easiest way for housebreaking because the crate is teaching them their area in a small scale. So animals don't like to usually urinate or defecate where they sleep. They don't like to unless they can't hold it. And that's okay because that happens in puppies. But by crating them, it's teaching them that this is your environment and we need to go to the bathroom outside. So I would suggest to people, you know, dogs, when they're eating and drinking, you know, after they're playing, put them in their crate for a little bit, then take them out of their crate and immediately carry them out if they're small enough to the bathroom and encourage them by giving them a cue word like, you know, go pee or whatever it is you want to teach them, teaching them that and then rewarding them outside for doing the behavior. But this is something that you have to keep up on. You have to make sure that you're always being consistent because we're talking about now consistency again. Why, you know, every time we play, we take the puppy out. So yes, you're going to take the puppy out 1,000,000 times a day. But by putting him in the crate after play breaks and teaching him, you're teaching him that that's his spot. In the nights, put them in the crate. Even if you want to put the crate by your bed, that's fine because they're going to signal to you they have to go to the bathroom. Immediately get up, get the pet out, and take them out to the bathroom. But the crate is one of the #1 tools that has helped people housebreak their dog quicker and more efficiently than just letting them run free. I'm not a fan, personally, of puppy pee pads.
I was going to ask you that. That was my next thing.
I feel that the puppy pee pads is a great idea for what it does, but I feel like it's going to create a problem in the long run because it's teaching them that going inside the home is okay. They're still in the structure. It's not teaching them that outside this domain is the pee place, not here, and they may continue to go in that one area where the pee pad used to be, or, you know, it's not teaching them that outside goes to the bathroom. You know, so even, you know, I've lived in apartments and condos in the past where I had to housebreak puppies. I know it's a lot of work to run down those steps to carrying the puppy as fast as you can to the grass spot, but it pays off in the end. So the crate is my #1 tip, you know, to help people. You know, that's my biggest advice is crate training, making sure that the pet is okay with the crate, doing lots of crate breaks, you know, crates in the night, and making sure immediately from the crate, never letting the dog, you know, run around from the crate out to the grass. That is the biggest thing in helping housebreak.
So from the crate to the grass?
Yes, right outside. So if they're like, let's say we're playing, oh, here we go, we'll play with the ball, the dog's drinking, we play, put the dog in the crate, let's say for like 10-15 minutes. Immediately we take the dog from the crate, we run it outside to the backyard, or if down the steps, or however you have to do to get to your backyard. And then put him down, he'll sniff around, he'll go to the bathroom and praise him, oh, good dog, you know, give him a toy, play with him. And then he can come back in the house, run around for a little bit, and then do another crate break a little bit later, put him in the crate for a little bit. Let him get used to, at any time of the day, the crate is okay if you have to go out. So that's teaching the dog that the crate is fine at any time, not just certain times of the day.
And I got to ask you this: do you think, in your opinion, do you think that spoiling your animal promotes behavioral issues? You know, just like in children, like, you know, you become a spoiled brat. Can dogs do that?
I would say yes, depending on what we mean by spoiling, because I spoil mine with, you know, a lot of toys and good food. Now,
Right.
so there's two different forms of spoiling, but we're also going to talk about boundaries again. But by spoiling, do you mean allowing the dog to run your life in a sense, to where, like, the dog is you're no longer the leader, you're an equal. So you can be your dog's friend, but you have to be his leader.
So in other words, like, if you don't believe in animals on a couch,
Right. That's boundaries.
if a dog jumps up on the couch, you become its equal.
Yes, I could say in a sense that would make more sense, because but then again, some people like their pets to sit on the couch. So
Right.
once again, this
Yeah.
is, you know, but boundaries being like that might be okay, you know, sit on the couch, that's fine. But also the dog has to have a discipline and structure. So if you want them to be able to sit on the couch, you know, make sure that the dog still understands, like, okay, like, you know, this is the boundaries that we have to have between one another. I'm still the leader, you know, I still, you know, I consume my meals before you. Pack leader always eats first. That's another tip for people
What do you
anytime.
mean?
Well, another tip that you can learn with establishing leadership is in a pack of dogs, the leader of the pack always eats first. So an example you could do every time before you feed your dog, eat something. Show the dog you're eating a cracker or something, and then have his meal ready and make him sit or do something for the meal, and then feed him. It's showing him, oh, okay, you know, this leader goes first, and then I follow behind. So you can still be your dog's friend, but you're also showing him that you're also his leader. So
Interesting.
walking through doors first, you know, allowing you to go through the door first. You wait, me first, is all showing the dog. It's signaling to the dog without showing him or saying anything to him verbally. You're showing him what leadership is. Eating before him, you know, exiting and entering doors before him. It's all because that's how they work. Leaders always go first in the pack. That's just the way it is.
Okay. Now, I got a really interesting question, and you might not, it might be a little hard to answer, but male, female dogs.
Okay.
Okay. My Rottweiler that I had for years, I felt that she wasn't aggressive to other people when I was present, because she felt that she didn't have to protect me.
Right.
But I felt when my wife and my kids were around, she was really could be aggressive if she had to. Are male and female training, either gender, we'll call it,
Okay.
easier, harder, because you're female? Do female dogs say, okay, this is a female? Like, do they relate to us that way?
In my experience, I want to say no.
Okay.
I feel the way that you interact with your pet is, like what I said about the boundaries and all that. It doesn't matter if your dog is a male or a female. By setting the foundation for the good relationship of boundaries, it shouldn't matter the sex of the dog, whether it's a female or male.
You know why? Because I say that because you mentioned pack.
Yes.
You know, like lions, females hunt, not the males. We're kind of big and lazy, so we don't do any
Yeah.
of that stuff. We eat, though.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, like, that's why I was wondering, like, do dogs have that same type of behavior, because they kind of live in a pack.
In a
Or-
pack
well,
mentality, yeah.
Right.
I just have to say, from my experience, no. I feel that you can get that, what you were talking about, whether it's a male or a female.
Okay.
It just depends, like I said, about establishing leadership with the dog and also the dog's personality. So some dogs, you know, they always have that drive to want that position, but knowing that they can't have it, they'll always be hoping, like, oh, maybe I'm next. That they just,
Right.
you know, some dogs are like that. But maybe because of your wife, you know, your dog, she knew that, you know, you were the leader. But when, you know, Alpha, you could say, was no longer in the building, she felt that she was I guess you could say, Beta, I guess Alpha and Beta, which is second in command, I think,
Right.
She took on the position to protect, because
Right.
maybe she felt that that was her place. You
right.
were one, she was two. So when one's gone, two steps up.
Okay, last question, because I could talk to you for another hour.
Yes.
But next question, the kids and the dogs,
Yes.
big thing. I think you see a lot of kids get bit. Sometimes it's because of a bad owner teaching a dog a certain behavior.
Right.
You know, you talk about letting the animal know that you are dominant over them.
Yes.
Kids, you know, like 4 or 5-year-olds, you know, at a decent-sized dog, you're kind of at their level.
Yeah.
How do you create dominance for the children so the dog understands? You know, most dogs just fall into that role and protect them.
Right.
But there are dogs that are kind of like more aggressive than others. So
Of course. I mean, yes, like that's with any animal. The best advice for that I could say is also have your children. You obviously, if you have a dog from a young age, some people don't. We like to rescue. You know, I'm a big supporter of, you know, all the organizations that are out there, especially your local animal shelter. So rescuing, you can't always rescue a puppy. I understand that. So you want to have your children, you know, of all ages, partake in care of the dog. For instance, you know, offering the dog its food. So the dog's starting to associate, oh, okay, you feed me too. You know, also teaching, you know, your younger child how to give commands or little things like that to show that the dog, that your child is an equal with the dog and not a threat. Having him, you know, feed and water and walk and play, I feel like that also is going to help build a big bond between, you know, dog and child.
right, you know, it's interesting, you know, because honestly, I believe that, you know, the insurance industry can change the world, everything we do, especially with animals in the house. Like, you know, people like, look, it's safer to have an animal than have a gun in the house, right?
Right.
But I also think that there comes responsibility where, you know, if the insurance company says, look, I'm not going to raise your insurance, you go get a Rottweiler pit bull, but what I want Dana to come out and train the dog, or, you know, and make sure that the dog is under full command of everybody in the house,
Right.
then that's safe. You know what I mean?
I feel I feel like in a perfect world that would be wonderful. And I feel
Absolutely.
like that, you know, I feel like that's kind of, in a sense, I want to say more of my goals. The reason I started the company was because I have, you know, obviously such a love for animals from all the years that I've worked with them. But I also want to be able to make everything affordable for everybody. I want everybody to have the opportunity to be able to feel confident in their dog when they take it out. So that's my goal, is to make people happy and keep dogs out of the shelters. I want people to be able to call me and say, hey, Dana, I need help.
Right.
Okay. You know, what do you want help with? What is your wish?
Right.
You know, and to be able to try to make these wishes for people come true at a reasonable rate that, you know, everybody can afford. Like, that's the whole idea behind Guardian K-9, is affordability and reliability of being able to take their pets where they want to go and feel confident.
Okay, awesome. Well, Dana, we have to conclude this portion of our show. But you know what, though? Before we go, I wanted to put some pictures up on the screen.
Yes. Yes.
First picture up is a picture of some 3 dogs.
Yes.
What are those of?
Well, 2 of them are clients' dogs, and one, of course, is the unofficial mascot, Luna. So you'll get to
Okay,
meet
Luna.
Luna, which was a shelter rescue from the AWA.
Okay, cool.
So-
We just actually picked up a puppy from a shelter, adoption place recently. Then the next picture, now that's a picture, it looks like you and a dog at a certain distance. That's part of training, or?
Yes, it is. I believe that picture is me, which looks like there's a line in my hand. That is a 12-week-old pit bull puppy that I was working a long sit in. That long sit was being done in a park or field, whatever you want to call it, with many distractions around, kids playing, people walking their dogs on and off leash. So to me, that's one of my favorite photos.
Okay, and then the next photo is, I believe, the mascot, you said.
Yes.
You and Luna.
That's me and Luna.
Okay.
Yes, that is.
Awesome.
That's
Very,
on a
very
training
nice.
day.
Okay. So why don't you tell the viewers and listeners where they can find you?
Okay, yes, you can find me, I'm on Facebook right now. I do have a website, that's in the construction process right now. It's www.guardiank9training.net. You can find me, like I said, also on Facebook. Just look for the blue dog and the shield. You can also reach me by phone. I have my phone with me at all times. I'm the only one who answers it, so it will come directly to me. The number's 856-449-6910, and I'm Dana.
Okay, and just give a shout out to your grooming folks.
Yes.
Where are they located at? Forked River?
Yes, Forked River, New Jersey. The grooming shop is a 100% cage-free grooming experience for your pets. So you can visit them right on Route 9. It's called the Grooming Shop. Also, a shout out, of course, to one of my favorite veterinarians, which is Cedar Brook Animal Hospital, located on Cedar Brook Road. They are one of the most amazing people, and they are so great with animals. I mean, I take my own animals there still to this day, and I would recommend anybody with veterinary needs to give them a call because they are just wonderful people.
Where is that? What township is that?
Cedar Brook, right near Sicklerville,
Okay.
off of Cedar Brook Road. Yes, Cedar Brook
Okay.
Animal Hospital.
Okay.
Dr. Haber, Perslicka, and Dr. Rakowski, most amazing vets.
Okay, awesome. Well, this is this will conclude our segment for morning coffee. We're going to be right back with our next guest. That was awesome.